will begin with the shamrock part of the tote bag, so grab your darker shade of green yarn and make a magic circle, chain 1, and then double crochet 3 times. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Next, chain 2. This will form the first corner, and then double crochet 3 more times. We are essentially making a granny square, and each side of the first round will have 3 double crochets with a chain 2 separating them. Tighten the magic circle as you go to make it a little easier. So here's our third set of double crochets. And chain 2. Last set of 3 double crochets. And then chain 2. Slip stitch to complete the first round. And don't forget to tighten that magic circle. For the next round, you can either chain 1 or chain 2 depending on how stretchy your yarn is. For me, I just chained 1. And into that same stitch, I am double crocheting 2 times. In the next stitch, double crochet 1 time, and then into the next one, double crochet 2 times. So for this side of our second round of the granny square, we have 5 double crochets. Chain 2, and then skip the chain 2 from the previous round, and into that next stitch, double crochet 2 times, and then in the next stitch, 1 double crochet, and into the next one, 2 double crochets. So here's the next side of our granny square with 5 double crochets. Chain 2, same thing, 2 double crochets, one double crochet, and 2 double crochets. Chain 2, and repeat for the last side. Here's my last chain 2, and then slip stitch to finish the second round. For the third round, I'm chaining 1 and continuing the pattern. So in that first stitch, I am double crocheting 2 times, and then in the next stitch, double crochet 1 time, double crochet 1 time, double crochet one time, and then in that last stitch double crochet 2 times. So this side of the third round has 7 double crochets followed by a chain 2 before we go into the next side. Complete this pattern all the way around. Again for one more round, so we have 4 rounds total. Here is the slip stitch for the last round. And here's the middle part of the shamrock. So our first round had 3 double crochets followed by 5 and then 7, and then the last round has 9 double crochets on each side. Next we're going to work on the rounded part of the shamrock. So skip a stitch, and in the following one double crochet 6 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And because we put those 6 double crochets in that one stitch, it kind of created a rounded edge. So skip the next stitch, and in the following one slip stitch, and then skip the next stitch, and into the following one 6 more double crochets. So of the 9 stitches across on each side, the first one is a slip stitch. You skip a stitch, and in the next one 6 double crochets, and then skip a stitch, slip stitch, skip a stitch, 6 double crochets, skip a stitch, and slip stitch. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochets. So I'm skipping a stitch and slip stitching. And that completes one petal of our shamrock. Follow that up with a chain 2. Skip the 2 chains from the previous row, and then continue the pattern. Slip stitch, skip a stitch, and then 6 double crochets. Here I am almost all the way around. Here is my last chain 2, and then I'm just going to slip stitch and then chain 1, cut the yarn, and here is the completed shamrock part of the tote bag. Starting with the heart shape in front of us, I just want to point out where we will be inserting our hook for most of the stitches around. Instead of inserting our hook into the V-stitch on top, we will instead be inserting our hook into the back loop and the third loop right behind it. So here it is from the other side, the back loop, and then that little loop right behind. Next, locate the 4th double crochet from the right. This is where we will begin. Grab your white yarn and place it on your hook, and attach your yarn however you would like, but I'm just going to go right in with a half double crochet. And I do this by holding the tail behind to help. So here is the half double crochet going into the back loop and third loop. And then in the next stitch, double crochet, and then in the next one, double crochet, and then where that slip stitch is, right in the middle, there is no like third loop, so just insert a triple crochet underneath that V-stitch. Continuing on with a double crochet in that back loop and third loop. And another double crochet, and then half double crochet, and then in the next stitch, single crochet, and then chain 2, and then single crochet one more time into that same stitch. Our granny square technically has 8 sides, so that chain 2 acts as like a corner. Next we'll be working along the middle part of the petals, so starting in the next stitch with a half double crochet, and then in the next one a double crochet, skip that slip stitch, and then where that chain 2 is, insert 3 double crochets. And then skip that slip stitch, and then where the next 6 double crochets are, you will insert a double crochet into that back loop and third loop, followed by a half double crochet, and then single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet one more time. This is our second corner. Next we're back with the heart section, so half double crochet, and then double crochet, double crochet, triple crochet into that V-stitch, which is where the slip stitch is, and then moving on, double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, and then single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet one more time. The next corner's done. We're working in between the petals again, so starting with a half double crochet, and then a double crochet, skip the slip stitch, and then in that chain 2 space, double crochet 3 times. Skip the next slip stitch and then double crochet, half double crochet, and single crochet, chain 2, single crochet one more time in that same stitch. Repeat this pattern all the way around. So here's the last side I'm working on in my last corner, which is a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then slip stitch into that first half double crochet. And here is the first round around our shamrock. Begin with a chain 1 and then single crochet into that same stitch. For the next stitch, triple crochet. And for this round, I am working in the top V-stitches, not the back loop. Follow that with a single crochet and then a triple crochet, single crochet, triple crochet, single crochet, triple crochet, and then in that corner a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then triple crochet, single crochet. So here is the last single crochet of this side, and I'm chaining 2 and then starting the next row with a single crochet. Here I am all the way around. Here's a triple crochet, and then that last corner, single crochet, and then chain 2, single crochet, triple crochet, and then slip stitch into that first single crochet, and that will complete the first side that we started on. And then next you can push out all of those triple crochets, and it just adds textural interest. Next we'll work on our moss stitch granny squares that go on our tote bag. So grab your lighter shade of green, make a magic circle, and then single crochet, chain 2. This will be our first corner, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, and then slip stitch to complete the round. Pull that magic circle tight, and the first round is complete. Chain 1, flip over to the other side, and locate those 4 corner spaces. That's where we're going to be inserting our hook. So into that first corner space, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 1, in the next corner, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 1, in the next corner, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 1, and in that last corner space, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 1, and then slip stitch. That completes our second round. Chain 1, flip your work back over, locate those new spaces. So we have the corner spaces, but also these middle spaces, and that's where we'll be inserting our hook. So in that middle space, single crochet, chain 1, and in that corner space, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 1, middle space, single crochet, chain 1, corner space, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, middle space. Oh, forgot to add a chain 1. There we go. Single crochet, chain 1, corner space, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 1, middle space, single crochet, chain 1, and corner space, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 1, and slip stitch. Moving on to the next round, chain 1 and flip your work over, locate those new spaces. So here I've continued the pattern for 6 rounds. My last single crochet, chain 1, and slip stitch. Chain 1 before cutting the yarn. And then because we ended on the back side, just pull that tail through. And that is a completed moss stitch granny square. For this pattern, we will need 8 shamrocks and 5 moss stitch granny squares. Here are some of the parts that we made laid out where they're supposed to go for the tote bag. I just want to point out that the heart parts of the shamrock petals are facing north, south, east, west. If you want, you could also turn them slightly if you prefer this look instead. Each side has the same amount of stitches. So looking up close on this moss stitch granny square, there's 13 stitches on each side, as well as each side of the shamrock. So here is one side where I have attached all of the parts together. I start with the middle first, and then work each side like this. Now I'm just flipping this over and placing the other parts where they're supposed to go. Here's my other 4 shamrocks, my other moss stitch, and then the last 3 you just kind of fold in half and they attach in these areas right here. And that forms our tote bag. I just want to show you real quick how I attach all the pieces together. Starting with the center piece, just put your yarn on your hook. I'm using the lighter shade of green. Locate that first stitch, insert into the back loop on each side. And you want to keep that working yarn kind of under and below. So yarn over and then pull through 3 loops. Moving to the next stitch, insert into that back loop, insert into the back loop, yarn over, pull through 3 loops, keeping that working yarn down the middle in the back. Next stitch, into the back loop, insert into the back loop, yarn over, pull through 3 loops. Continuing on, inserting into the back loop of each side, yarn over, pull through 3 loops. Here's what we have so far, and here is the last stitch on each side. I have 13 stitches now connected. Next, just turn your work and continue along the other side. No need to add any more like corner stitches or anything, just go straight into that back loop of the first stitch on each side. Here, almost at the very end, here's my last stitch. And I'm just going to slip stitch into that first connection there. And then, as always, chain 1 before cutting. Next, we'll focus on connecting these 2 sides of the shamrocks. So same thing. Keep your yarn kind of in the middle and below. Insert your hook into the back loop of each side, yarn over, and pull through 3 loops. With the shamrocks, you'll notice that the single crochets match up together, and then the triple crochets match up together, so it'll help you stay on track. The last stitch is always a little tricky to find. There's the last one. Pulling through those 3 loops. and then chain 1 before cutting. And then I'm just going to go underneath and pull that yarn through. Finally, let's work on the straps. I'm going to use a moss stitch pattern similar to the moss stitch granny square. So one side I've already completed, and then I'm flipping it over to the other side. I have one part of the strap done. I'm going to do that same thing on the other side and then connect them at the top. So put that lighter shade of green on your hook and locate the 11 stitches going across the shamrock. So starting at that first single crochet, ending at the other single crochet. So ignore the chain 2 in the corner. So I have my yarn on my hook. Here's my first single crochet, inserting into the back loop and third loop like before. I'm just putting in that first single crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, and in the next stitch, working into that back loop and third loop, single crochet again, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then single crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then in the next one, single crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then single crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then here's our last stitch, single crochet. That's our first row complete using the moss stitch pattern. So chain 2, flip it over, locate those spaces. That's where we're going to be inserting our hook. So in that first space, single crochet, and then chain 1. In the next space, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. Now we don't have a space for another single crochet, so I'm just going to add one here at the end. So one more single crochet at the very end. That's our second row completed. Next, chain 2, flip it back over, locate those new spaces, and into that first space, single crochet, chain 1, 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 and then our last space is where that chain 2 was. Put a single crochet there, and that's our third row complete. So to continue on, chain 2 before flipping it over, locate your spaces, and continue with your single crochet, chain 1. Here we are at the very end. I've made 30 rows. And then I'll take those two pieces and connect them the same way that I connected all of the other pieces. So inserting the hook into the back loop of each side, yarning over and pulling through 3 loops. You don't have to do it this way. You can attach those pieces however you like. This is just how I'm doing it. At the end, make sure you weave in all of your ends. And here is the completed tote bag. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.